Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tarot Tuesday live stream. I'm afraid my mouse is not working so well on this velvet, and I've had to use a makeshift mouse pad, and it's not working so great. So I'm going to have to figure something better out. But today is, among other things, the new moon in Aries, which is why I have the card up here. And the energy of that is go for it. We are at this is the first day of the new astrological new year, the first day of Aries. And so we have lots of new beginnings, new energy to infuse us for the year ahead. And this is what kind of inspired me to do this live stream today, because I've been off for a month because I've been dealing with a bereavement. And even though I'm not fully 100% back doing all the things that I'm doing, I felt really guided to show up today because this week is really big astrologically, and there's a lot of energies going on, a lot of stuff that we're letting go of, a lot of new things we're being prepared for, and it felt like it was necessary for me to show up and do the readings today. And so I wanted to start with the new moon in Aries energy. So I've got the card here from the Moonology manifestation deck, and I wanted to actually read the message for today, because it's obviously appropriate considering what's going on. So, new moon in Aries, go for it. This card heralds good news, opportunities abound, and the outlook is positive. Go through the doors that are opening up to you. There's every reason to believe you'll create what you want, even if you feel a long way from your goal. Keep going and be courageous. Chase your dreams with childlike enthusiasm and expect your desires to be satisfied. Don't sit around making plans. Do take action. This is crucial. Chase your goal. Believe in divine timing. In love, make the first move if you dare. Financially, be proactive. And this, for the manifestation, has a few sort of extra points. So this card is especially good sign if you need more courage or determination, or if you're chasing someone or something. Manifesting mindset is be driven and determined, take action, ditch faint-heartedness. And then the manifestation affirmation is I'm on the right track. Soon I will fill in the blank. So yeah, and apparently the best time to work your magic when it comes to the sort of Aries new moon is on a Tuesday. So perfect timing for the new moon. So yeah, and obviously the new moon in Aries is not the only thing going on. We have obviously the beginning of Aries season starting for the next month, and then we've got Pluto about to go into Aquarius, which a lot of people are saying is heralding the real beginning of the age of Aquarius, even though it's going to be going retrograde into Capricorn and back into Aquarius between now and November 24. But a lot of shifts are on the horizon because of that. So it's very exciting times, time for the new. We've been purging a lot the last few months, and I feel it's because we've got this new Aquarian energy coming through with Pluto, as well as many other things that are going on astrologically. It's a really big year, but I wanted to sort of like do this to sort of help us get through, how to figure out how to navigate through the next month or so. So I'm going to be starting with a zodiac spread with my tarot deck, and that's going to be for Aries season. I realized that we're not at the end of the month, and I thought it might be better to actually just look at the season of Aries as 1 month block rather than say do March's spread or April spread or whatever the case may be. And then afterwards, I'm going to do a chakra reading, because I think it might help us in terms of navigating, because there's so much change that's about to happen, or is happening already, that we could be thrown off balance a bit, or finding it a little bit of a struggle. And so I think the chakra reading is really good for that, because different people are going to feel it in different parts of their body for different reasons. You may have been feeling like me, particularly the last few days, where it's like so many shifts have been going on in my body, and I've been dealing with, pain and huge release in the fascia and all kinds of stuff going on. And it literally feels like my body is just being drained of trauma, of places where I've been holding on to things for way too long. So you may have already been feeling that. So if you've had some ascension symptoms recently, or just feeling a bit out of sorts than you normally do, then it might be good to see the chakra reading, because it will show you some of the symptoms that tend to associate with certain chakras. So if you had a blockage in say, like your third eye or your throat, you might be feeling more headaches. Or if you had, like me, something going on in sacral chakra, I've been having a lot of pelvis stuff going on and hip stuff going on. So depending on where you might have blockages in the chakras might depend on how you've been feeling the last few days, and how we may be feeling in the not too distant future as well, because there may be some more of that to release as we start to embrace the new. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. And in between the two main readings, if there's any comments in the chat, then I will quickly take those personal readings. You can ask just for a general reading, or a general reading like in your life, like your career or your love life or something like that. Or if you've got a question, either for yourself or on, more the world stage, then you're welcome to ask it, and then I can do that. And then once I've done the two main readings, I'm going to open up at the end, and I'll just take any questions I can that are there, that I can. And if I feel guided to do any other small readings along the way, then I will. So yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to just move this. I'm not going to need the Moonology deck straight away, so I think I'll just leave it there so you can still see it a bit. All right, so I might have to move some things around. We'll see how it goes. All right, so this is going to be a zodiac spread for the... I'm just going to put it up here so people know what's going on. There we go. So this is a zodiac spread for Aries season, which is the dates you see below. And I'm just going to see, what do we need to know as a collective for Aries season, what we're going to be facing in Aries season. Oh, interesting. We got the magician jumped out there. So we might be dealing with our illusions. It might be a very magical time. So let's just see. Cards are really wanting to jump out. I'm doing a zodiac spread, guys. No. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to lay these out, and then I will show them as we go along. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So I just need to pull this out. Okay. All right. So I'm reading this as a zodiac, so we're going to go around the whole wheel. I'm just going to pull one from the middle. Okay. So even though the first house is about Aries, this is going to cover the whole month, the whole season of Aries, and we're just going to read it. So with the first house, which is the Aries house, this is about ourself. This is about beginnings, our identity. And right now we're showing up as the Eight of Swords. So we're feeling a little bit blocked, a little bit stuck. And this is across the way from the Lovers. So this is being aspected by the Lovers. So I feel like this is maybe we're feeling a little stuck with some of our relationships or our agreements with people, and it could be that some of the blockages that we're dealing with is going to impact, or perhaps the clearing of them as well, is going to impact our relationships as well. Yeah, but I'm also getting the feeling, and we'll come back to this because this is Libra, but I feel like this is going to be an interesting time for romance as well. And so maybe people who have been single for a while, who have been stuck in a relationship that hasn't been working, then there may be some need to examine that, or some of the Aries energy is going to be bringing that up to the fore. So yeah, let's see just as we go forward. So we've got in the second house of Taurus, we've got the Empress, which is a really fantastic card. I'm afraid the lighting in here isn't great. I'm going to have to get one of those ring lights or something, so you have to bear with me, but I just really love the velvet here, so I'm trying to make it work. So we've got the Empress, and she is she is aspected by the Two of Swords. So the Empress is and it's interesting because in the House of Taurus, because as you can probably see, maybe if I bring it here, we've got the sign of Venus right there, and so obviously, and the Venus is the natural ruler of Taurus. So again, getting the love vibe, but I think this is also about abundance. I think we're going to be feeling a little bit stuck with abundance, or that we're waiting to see what happens, because obviously probably some of you have seen there's been some financial issues right now with some banks that have been going bankrupt, and some that are on the verge of bankruptcy, and so there's a real need to stave off stave off these things from falling. And I think some people are maybe going to be a little bit on the fence about, what do I do with my money? Do I take it out? Do I invest it in something else? So, is there going to be a situation? Is there not going to be a situation? I think abundance wants to come to us, maybe perhaps if we are open to it. And I think perhaps also our attitude and how we handle these issues is going to also play out. I feel like the vibration we bring to the situation may impact how we weather it. And so maybe we're being asked to be a little detached in what's going on and perhaps not get hooked up in the drama. It is also possible that maybe we're going to have issues accessing money with this the Eight of Swords next to us. So it could be that we're actually going to have a period where perhaps there's issues with the banks or delays or something that just means that things are a little bit more clunky than normal. But the Empress is generally a very positive card, and she is also being aspected by the Ace of Swords here. So I think there is going to be perhaps some announcements or perhaps some information or clarity coming around that. So I think we're going to have to just pay attention to how we're reacting to it, to anything that might be going on in this season. So let's carry on and see what else we've got. So in Gemini, so in the third house of Gemini, so this is our mind, this is the way we're communicating, this is also sort of education, things like that. So this is very much the intellect that we're dealing with here. And we've got the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is like you're in uncharted territory, but you haven't quite had the breakthrough yet. You haven't quite stepped through into whatever is new. But it's almost like you've cleared space for it. You're watching for it, doing kind of what's necessary to make it happen. And then we have the Six of Swords that's aspecting it. So I feel like okay, I'm getting the purge. So perhaps we're going to have, as we've been clearing out stuff, maybe we need to be paying attention to our thoughts because our thoughts, create our reality. It creates what we manifest, what we attract to ourselves, right? So I think again, with the detachment that I was talking to earlier, I think we're getting out of troubled water. We are having to, but we've gone through a lot, and perhaps the things that we've gone through, perhaps if this is about money, for example, to just continue the theme, the wounds we've maybe had around scarcity or lack, or how we're going to, or the future financially and stuff like that. I think a lot of that wounding has maybe come up or maybe about to come up, particularly mentally. And as we are close to taking a step forward, this is perhaps the point where we have to be careful we don't end up like backtracking. So I think we need to be very careful about what we think about, and to try and keep our thoughts positive where we can. That doesn't mean to be Pollyanna-ish and be unrealistic, but it feels like we're so close that we just need to be a little careful as we move forward in terms of how we communicate, how we speak to one another, how we think and speak to ourselves, the attitudes that we bring forward. I think some clarity is also going to come that may help us take a step forward. But right now, maybe it's not quite clear. Some things may be about to fall into place a little more over this next month. And it's not just talking financially here. This could be other aspects in your life. Whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life, really pay attention to your thoughts right now in terms of how you speak. Now, obviously, we're in Aries season, so this isn't a month to just be thinking and planning. This is a month for doing, absolutely doing. But when we are thinking about what we're doing, perhaps at the end of the day or the beginning of the day before we get started or whatever, or when we're coming together with people, to be mindful of how we are framing it, to make the best use of our mental magic to support our action. as we move forward. So in the 4th house, which is of Cancer, we have the 3 of Pentacles. Now, the 3 of Pentacles is very much about enterprise. It's about teamwork. It's about coming together to create a strong foundation. So I think this is going to be a great month for doing things with other people. And then across the way, where we will be in a year, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So something new is manifesting. It could be quite abundant. It could be almost like a gift. It could also be about our health as well, like almost like we're having a healthier relationship with the way we show up in the world. Yeah. And so I think this is definitely a great time for joint ventures, for particularly because we've got the Ace of Pentacles here and we've got 3 of Pentacles there. So I think that, this is going to be a great time to come together. And this is also about our home. This is where we feel rooted. So I think we're going to be feeling more rooted in working together in sort of partnership, like in the business sense. But we've also got the Empress and the Lovers here. So I think coming together is feeling like we are wanting to come together, but maybe the process of doing that is meaning that we're going to have to look at things that we've kind of avoided because we've got the 8 of Swords here. So it could be that there's some blocks we have to work through in order to make those relationships, partnerships work. But it's going to be very, very fruitful with that Ace at the top there. So what we start now is going to really come into its own over the course of this next year. Then we've got the house of Leo, 5th house. And we've got the King of Wands. So I think this is a hugely powerful time to follow your passions and be creative. Hugely. And then we've got aspecting it. We've got the 7 of Swords. So, and I think we need to be maybe a bit adaptable with how we're being creative. Perhaps we need to be creative in order to adapt to what's going to unfold in this next month. But I think this is going to be a really powerful time to be creative, perhaps also in partnership with others, right? Because actually both cards on either side of that are community cards. So I think, yeah, being creative, following your passions, what fires you up, is going to be really powerful. And it's interesting we get the King of Wands in Aries season. So I think, the Wands obviously are fire-based. Aries is fire, and it's very much about action. I think it may even be possible that the things that you start creating now or you put energy into now, you may end up becoming more well known for as time moves on. Yeah. Then we have in the house of Virgo, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Such a beautiful card. So Virgo, so I'm getting daily routines, health. I think we are really wanting to be more in contact with one another in our everyday lives. The last few years have really taken us apart because of lockdowns and restrictions and all kinds of stuff. But I feel that we are really wanting to come together more in community, in the physical, and to work together in our everyday lives. So I think I get the feeling that being willing to welcome in people again into our lives to be more in a community-minded spirit. And now Virgo's not typically the card you associate with community, but I'm feeling that because it's almost like community solutions to everyday needs. It's a good time to work on community projects, and these can be things that you would need in everyday life. So this could be growing food, it could be self-sufficiency stuff, it could be it could be ways of being more abundant together, that kind of thing. So it could be that those are the kind of things that also are really good, because I'm definitely getting the feeling of like growing together. That's what I'm getting, like growing together kind of feeling in your everyday life. In gardening definitely feels like, because obviously this is in the northern hemisphere anyway, we're coming into spring, and yeah, it feels like it might be a good time if you're into gardening or want to set up a garden, be a bit more self-sufficient this year. This might be a good time to do it. Might also be something to do with health, like natural healing as well. People who are really into herbs and alternative forms of medicine. This could be a good time to be a bit more open in your community about that. Help people in your community about things like that. Yeah. And we've got this aspecting the Ace of Swords. It feels like we're going to get more direction in community. Perhaps we're going to have more interest in coming together more and finding ways of creating solutions locally. It's like we're getting a sort of lightning bolt of energy to spark this more this season. And it could be we're just planting seeds right now for that to bloom over this next year. But there is something, and because we've got, see, this is interesting, we've got an ending here in the beginning. So it's almost like some old ways of doing things. We may be choosing different ways of actually working together in community. Because then we've got almost like a fresh start, more greater clarity on how to move forward, letting go of old ways of working together and embracing new ways. All right. So then we've got the 7th house of Libra, and that's being aspected by, again, the 8 of Swords. So this is probably going to be a good time. I know astrologically it is actually for new relationships or a reblossoming of relationships, like starting a new chapter, places where maybe there was blockages. It might be a time to examine where we are armored, where we are closing ourselves off from the possibility of new relationships or improving existing relationships or allowing for change in relationships. I feel that it's almost like it's time to work on the things that are getting in the way of our relationships being renewed or welcoming in new relationships. We may have to wait a little while. It may not be that it manifests straight away, but it's almost like it's time to do the work to open up to that. Okay. And then we've got in Scorpio house, we've got 2 of Swords. So this is the house for like sexuality, intimacy, sort of inherited and group mutual funds, money. This could be like pensions, or it could be foundations, or trusts, things where it's not just your personal money in your bank account. It's where we maybe pool our money, and stock markets, stuff like that. We've got the Two of Swords, and this is opposite, being aspected by the Empress. It could be that this is referring to some stock market halting. It could be to do with, again, places where the typical flow of money is being held up, like the velocity of money is being going maybe in directions that make people a little bit nervous, perhaps, or it could be market volatility, that kind of thing. And yeah, because we've got the Pentacles here and the Lovers in agreement. So I'm wondering if financial contracts and stuff like that may be coming to a close, maturing, or agreements not meeting, what was agreed or expected. People may be being a little hesitant to make investments, or perhaps to want to withdraw money from one place or to another because they feel it's a safer bet. So I feel that there may be some changes or things coming to sort of like a completion point with that. I know that we, I think, okay, so I'm feeling this card calling to me. So this is like the atmosphere. I think there's some things that are hidden that are yet to be revealed, which until it becomes clearer, till we get sort of like more clarity, people are maybe going to be hedging their bets when it comes to those kind of financial decisions. So it feels like there's something yet to be revealed. There could be either some manipulation, like market manipulation going on, that's causing issues. Yeah. So I kind of feel like there's a lot of uncertainty around those kind of financial situations, and it may be that it's even though we may be starting to move into calmer waters with that, or that we're going to reach a point where things are going to get at least a bit more transparent. It's right now feeling like it's not necessarily clear what's going on, what to do. Are we going to see another financial crash, or are we going to find another band-aid way of getting through it? So I think there's a lot of people sitting on the fence, just waiting and watching to see what unfolds. Yeah. Okay. So then we have, so we have ninth house of Sagittarius. So this is about travel. It's about philosophy. Yeah. So we've got the Six of Swords, and this is aspected by the Three of Wands. I feel like some of the issues around travel maybe are going to start clearing up. I know that some places there aren't issues. There may be that there's some times where there is and there isn't an issue, but I think that's not really the main thing here. I feel like this might be more about philosophy, our attitudes, how we understand the world. it's almost like we're on the verge of a breakthrough in how we understand the world around us. Like maybe there is some kind of announcement or some kind of revelation or disclosure or something that may be about to break that will help give us clarity in our direction. I feel that there's still some uncertainty around, and it feels like it's coming back to the financial thing again, almost like not sure if I can travel because I don't know what my financial situation is going to be. I don't know if I want to be in another country if there is an issue. I'm feeling that as well. But I'm feeling that with the philosophy thing and the mindset thing, I think, again, it's coming back to what I said earlier, that if you are visualizing and intending the ideal outcome if you're traveling, or the ideal outcome with a situation you're concerned about, like the financial situation, for example, then that's going to help you get through into calmer waters. So again, be very mindful about how you speak to yourself, how you speak with others. It's going to be, I think there are things on the horizon that could be quite scary. And so the last thing we want to do is add to that in the collective field. You know, there's going to be people that are struggling. There's always people that are struggling, but there are going to be people who are struggling to deal with uncertainty. And so our job, as best we can, is to try and at least be a stabilizing force on the collective. So, yeah. So now we are in the 10th house. So this is the Capricorn. And so this could be where we are in a year. This is very much about our mission, our career, our purpose, our direction, our goals, our structure that we provide for ourselves. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles, and that's very, very positive. So, you know, this could be that, you know, over the course of the next year, we're getting a whole fresh start on something. And it could be financial, actually, because it is an ace, but it could also be about our health. It could be about our physical possessions. It could be that we are starting something new. So we could have, so it's been aspected by the Three of Pentacles here. So it could be that the joint ventures that we start now in Aries season is actually going to create a whole new way of serving, a whole new way of showing up in the world. So this is really positive. And it could be that, you know, I know that astrologically, I've had people talk about the fact that there's going to be a lot more people this year becoming self-employed, that are going to actually, you know, start maybe an online business or a local business, you know, something like that. So it could be we're getting back into rebuilding small businesses again this year, which would be great, because I know that small businesses got hit really hard during the whole pandemic. So I think with the way that we adapt to what we're navigating in the course of this year and what we're facing is actually career-wise going to be a really good direction for us, particularly if we're working with others. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of people. It could just be one or two, just like this card shows. But I think that working together in these new ways is going to be really successful over the course of this year. Now, it may not be clear. It may not be clear what that is yet, but what you do in Aries season now could just be the seed planting for what's about to unfold. But if you're following your intuition, if you're following what feels like the right move to make, it's going to make sense eventually. So yeah. And then we've got so in the 11th house, which is Aquarius, and we've got Pluto about to go into Aquarius. which is aspected by the King of Wands. So this is about sort of new ventures. This is about groups, networking, friends. This is about freedom. This is about technology. Technology. So yeah, it's almost like there may be things that I'm feeling the sense of like we may have to adapt to new ways of doing things, and this could be technologically wise, but also how we do things in groups, the reasons we come together in groups to do things. So I think we're going to be having to be quite nimble. I'm hearing this year, be very creative in the ways that we navigate the new things that are going to be coming up. And I feel I'm hearing this is over this year, not this particular month, but I think maybe it's going to start this month. Yeah, so I feel that thinking outside the box is going to be really important. Yeah. And getting different people's opinions, and different angles on things, so that you can come up with an even more creative solution. And also, because we've got the King of Wands here, and it's very much about like your passions, the things that are passionate about. So maybe looking for ways in which you can show up in the world that you're passionate about, that drive you as well, as a sort of way of navigating as well, like a different kind of, maybe like an alternative way. It doesn't have to be replacing something. It could just be something more that you add to the community or the group or the network that you're in. Yeah, it may also bring more freedom, because if you're following your passion, you're being creative, and perhaps you're working together in order to create that new future, that it's going to allow you to have a lot more flexibility in your life that maybe you haven't had before. Perhaps being able to own your own schedule, determine how much time you spend on things, and so on and so forth, and what you spend your time on. So and of course that's in a group setting. So in the sense of when you come together in a group to do something as well. So yeah, I feel like it's almost like we're being asked to come into groups in order to help us navigate certain things. Like that's a necessary component. Like we need to come together to figure out alternative solutions to some things, or to learn new technology, or new ways of doing things. So it's almost like there's resilience in being in groups right now. Yeah, I'm really getting that. And then finally, so we have Pisces, which is being aspected by the Ten of Pentacles here. And so this is like a very sort of like a spiritual message, a message from the deep unconscious, and it's almost like fresh start, cutting through the maze of confusion, getting clarity, and there's a real importance about community. I'm getting the voice of the people is the voice of God. Yeah. So there's real power in us being together, and I think the exchange of ideas is really important right now. I think that's also why keeping our mental what we're thinking on, how we speak, is really important as well. Because I think, our words, we spellcast with our words, and so it's almost like we have to be really mindful about what we're creating right now when we speak and when we think. And what we are, there is something new that's coming through, and I don't know if it's new information, a new technology, perhaps, a new way of doing something, and whatever it is, it's going to be really important to have people that we can reach out to, that we can work with through this. So our relationships are going to be really, really important in this Aries season, but I'm feeling like this is something that is starting now and is unfolding over the course of this next year, that ace. And yeah, I want that ace as well, actually. Yeah, so very interesting. And in the middle, we've got the King of Cups. So we don't have anything too negative here. So I'm kind of feeling like, although he can be a little tricky and can hide things under that cloak and all of that, so there could be stuff that we're still not 100% in the know about yet, that may throw us a bit when we are. But I feel this is about emotional mastery, that we're being tested to stay strong. And I think because of all the purging we've done over the last few months, that was part of the reason, because it's almost like we're going to be called on, that emotional mastery is going to be called on. So emotional intelligence as well, I'm getting, so that we can be there for those who are struggling. But also so that we are together enough to be flexible and adaptable to whatever it is that we're going to be facing this month. Yeah, wow. So that is the zodiac reading. I can't believe we're almost an hour in. Wow. So I'm just going to take a photo of this so I have it for my replay post, and then let me see. It looks like there's some chat. Okay, yes. So I can see that you would like a reading. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna take a picture of this. We'll do a quick reading. And all right. Right, I'm not sure if you're still on. I can't quite read your name from here, I'm afraid. I haven't got my glasses. Mary Jana? But I will do a reading for you, and then if you're not on, you can watch it back later. So I hope you still can see it. Okay, you're great. You're still here. All right, yes. So is there a particular aspect that you would like a reading on, like your career or your, what is it? Or your love life or your health or something like that? Or would you just like a general reading and see what happens? See what Spirit has to say. I'll just shuffle and see. Relationship. Okay. All right. Perfect. Let's do. No, not quite. I have to shuffle until it feels right. Okay. All right. So let's see. Wow. I did shuffle these cards. Getting all the same cards from the last read. Okay, that one's different. Okay. Wow, okay. So you're showing up as the Three of Pentacles. So, like you really tend to thrive perhaps when you're working with others, perhaps quite grounded when you're with others, perhaps quite maybe entrepreneurial, but I'm just thinking from a relationship standpoint, this feels, what does it feel like? I'm getting maybe like a peacemaker energy, like you're quite good at building bridges between people, something like that. Like you can bring together people. And so we're getting, I have a feeling I'm going to have to dig a little further in this one, but I'll just read what I've got so far. So for the other person, we're getting the King of Cups. So this is a water sign. So this, so that could be, if we're talking about a man here, this could be, let's see. So that could be a late water sign. So that's going to be, so it could be Pisces. It could be Scorpio. Male energy here. Probably more Pisces because that's right at the end. But so this person could be quite emotionally stable, like a strong emotional intelligence actually. Could be quite we're talking Pisces, could be quite spiritual as well. If it's Scorpio, it could be quite an intimate person, quite an intimate relationship. And I'm just trying to feel into something specific wants to come through on this card. Very heart-based, so someone with an open heart wears their heart on their sleeve, but is quite stable, so can weather the fluctuations of the heart. That's what I'm getting here. Then we've got coming out of troubled water, or into calmer water, as I'm trying to retrain myself to say. So I'm wondering if this is an existing relationship. Are you in an existing relationship right now? Because if you are, it could be that maybe you've had a bit of a rough patch, but things are improving. And if it's not, then it could be that what you're working through in order to be ready for a relationship. Divorcing. Okay. All right. Interesting. In that case, I would say, okay. So it feels like, okay, so the rough patch must be the divorce then. So it's like it's almost like you've passed the point of no return. So it's been tough up to this point, but it's going to start getting easier from now on. Even though it's maybe a bit to go in that process. Because this card can also be, this person could be a bit tricky, could be a bit manipulative. as well. It wasn't particularly badly aspected, so I didn't really go down that route, but sometimes that card can represent that. And then we have the King of Wands. So and we have, it could be there's somebody new on the horizon, actually. You might have to be a little, so because we've got this one here. So the King of Wands. So this is someone who'd be very very passionate, but very but again, we've got a king. So this is somebody should be, it may be somebody that's older than you, or around the same age. But it's almost like there's a little bit of a need to be a bit cautious, like perhaps there's a trust issue, a feeling of like you want to be, you want to move slowly, you want to just like take it. You want to make sure you don't make the same mistakes again, or you don't want to be hurt the same way again. Because we're also getting the Ace of Swords, so this is something new. This is something new that's coming through. Yeah, I'm going to just dig a little deeper. I don't know if this is making any sense, because it does depend on we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm just going to, oh, no, I don't need to shuffle. Take a couple more clarifying cards. Okay. So I think the current situation is what it's feeling like. It's played like you've been like I'm feeling like the divorce has made you feel a little stuck, or perhaps the relationship did, like you were feeling stuck in a relationship and you were feeling perhaps. So we've got this card again. I've got I'm feeling manipulation, like perhaps like you were being pressured, or that you didn't feel like you had true almost like autonomy, the feeling of like it was difficult to have your voice heard and for that to be taken into account. Like you felt a little stuck, like you couldn't freely be yourself. Okay, so let me just go a little further. Okay, all right. So this process that you're going through is going to put you into a place where you're going to be learning a lot more about self-care and loving yourself. What else? There's something else coming through. Abundant. Maybe you're actually going to come out of this, or something in the process is going to mean that actually things more nurturing. So more nurturing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you're a mother or not. Maybe there's going to be closer connections, but then we've got. So So you're. This is all uncharted territory. This is and you're kind of like making space for that something new that wants to come through, the new you, as well as whoever else might be in your life in the not too distant future. So this is like a necessary process, a necessary clearing out, not clearing out, but clearing the path for what's next in your life. And when in the process of doing that, you're going to be in a much more centered, grounded place that's gonna be more nurturing for you, and allow you to actually learn to be more nurturing towards yourself as well. I hope this is making sense. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting from the reading. I hope that helped at all. But it does feel like this is a necessary process you've gone through, even though it's been a bit tough. But it's helping you to grow into a space where you can be more caring towards yourself, which allows you to then be of a frequency that allows you to attract someone who's actually going to nurture you the way you deserve and to love you in equal measures. So that's kind of what I'm getting here, even though you may sort of like be a bit cautious to begin with. I want to take it slow and be sure that, you know, whoever is next in your life you can trust, in a way that is an act of self-care. So yeah. Okay. All right, so I hope that helped. All right, so if anyone else has any questions, then throw them in the chat now. Otherwise, I'm going to, or request for a reading. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the chakra reading. So, yeah, I'll just shuffle this quickly. Hello, Brittany. You're welcome. It's good to see you. Yeah, I'm fairly new to this as well, so don't worry. It's good to see new people coming in. It's really nice. Do you want to have a reading of any kind before I move on, or are you just hanging out? All right, so I'm just trying to. I feel like you would love a reading. Okay, great. All right. Do you want a reading, just a general reading, see what spirit says, or do you want a reading like on like love life, career, health, any of the big ones like that? I'm just gonna take this graphic off so I can see the chat better. General. Okay. All right. We'll see what spirit has to say. No, not quite. Sometimes it takes a little while for the cards to be in the right order. No. Sometimes it takes no time at all to get the cards right, and sometimes it takes, oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana in this reading. So, wow. So a lot of stuff unfolding slowly over the next year or so, just from that off the bat. So, okay. So I'm just going to start and then see what comes through. So the sort of from the past, the underlying influence, we've got the Two of Swords. So this is normally a card about something being on hold, something like waiting for like another way to come forward, sitting on the fence. Like so something that like you've been waiting for. And this waiting has in some ways required you to be quite strong and quite resilient. And so where you're sitting right now, you're showing up as the Ten of Swords. So this is like something coming to an end, and it's I just want to change the caption so I have the right chat. Sorry, I realized it's on the wrong reading now. So it's almost like you're having to surrender to something that's coming to an end right now. And we have the Lovers here. So this could be about relationships, or it could be about an agreement you've made with somebody that's coming to an end. Or some aspect of it is. And so you've got the Hierophant. So the Hierophant's normally a card about kind of leadership, particularly spiritual leadership. It could be about I kind of feel like, so I'm just going to throw these all up here so you can see them. So something has been going through a major transition, perhaps it's like already been started for a while now. And this process, perhaps at the end of the process or during the process, but the outcome, it's almost like when you come to the end of the slog, it's going to be quite joyous for you. And I'm wondering, because I'm definitely getting a spiritual vibe from this. So I'm wondering if there's like let me just feel into it. Let's like I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe your relationship with spirit, actually. Something to do with, yeah. I'm going to dig further because I just feel there's something. I need a bit more information. So, again, another major arcana. So it's okay. So we've got the ending. So there is something that has been divinely timed to happen that is taking you in a new direction. It may be a bit adventurous, and it could be that it's to do with. Do you? I'm just wondering. Are you quite spiritual? Do you have? Are you in some way connected to that? Not necessarily like is what you do, but you know, just in terms of because I'm wondering if I'm getting this sense that maybe you're being divinely guided. Yeah, divinely guided is what I'm getting. And you're being asked to as you go through this this ending, this letting go, to be adventurous and stay in a high vibration. Like it's really important for you to It's like I'm feeling it now, feeling connected to the divine, almost like a okay. I'm starting to get that maybe you felt a bit disconnected, and there it was necessary, almost like to build your strength and your resilience, but almost like it might be a time that it's coming back into your life. On some level, now it could be you may consider it your intuition. You could consider it a connect. It could even be a connection to somebody you knew on the other side. It could be I'm definitely getting a spiritual vibe from this. I'm going to just check a little further. Okay, so I think you're getting messages, like you're being opened up to messages coming through. This could be inspiration. It could be words that pop into your head. I'm definitely getting very positive energy in the heart right now. Like your heart is opening up as well. I don't know if this is making sense at all. You lost your parents. Okay, yeah. All right. So maybe okay. All right, yeah. So maybe the in the loss of that, it's allowed you to grow. It's deepened like almost your. I'm not just getting spiritual. I'm getting, I think, also emotional strength. Even though it may have been hard, and I think that this process is actually there's an opportunity to really deepen your spiritual connection here. And it's time for it. There's a divine timing card here and a new beginning here as well. So so I'm really getting the sense that you could actually end up being, if you follow this, wherever spirit's leading you, you could end up in a position where you're helping people spiritually as well. In however that manifests for you. It could just be through guidance or something like I'm doing here, or however that manifests for you. But I think that you actually could be a source of spiritual inspiration for the people around you. But right now I feel that it's almost like it's a more personal journey right now. It's about you regaining your strength and your connection to spirit. But I think you've got the possibility of really going deep into this, and this being a way in which you serve and help others. Yeah, and you're going through this. This is a transition that's going to happen over time. This is so even if you're deeply spiritual now, it's almost like maybe you're about to level up. You're in a process of leveling up, even more so. And I know that astrologically and from my own intuitions that a lot of spiritual people, a lot of psychic people, a lot of people in that who have those gifts are being called into action to step up, because it's almost like we're going to be really needed soon. And I'm getting that vibe here with you as well. So and I'm feeling a lot of heart energy. So it's like I'm feeling the grief a bit, but it's almost like the healing of that, as that heals, that's going to support you. So it's like, but I do feel the grief. I do feel that. And obviously you need to give that time, but that's you're going to come out on the other side of this a lot stronger, and it's going to, the spiritual connection is just going to deepen and deepen. So that's what I'm getting here. Oh, let's just see. Yeah. Yeah, strangers coming to you. Yeah, that's a classic sign. That's a sign where people like they don't know why, but they feel safe opening up to you, and quite often a lot of spiritual people have that happen to them. It's probably on some level they, even though they may not consciously understand it, they know that you're the kind of person who would hear them, and has the ability, like the traits of somebody who would actually be able to witness them, assist them, and all of that. So I have the same thing, and I know a lot of people who are quite spiritual in various different ways where they have that happen to them a lot. So tell me their life story. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people need that. Some people don't have places where they can actually talk to somebody about their life and all of that. So the fact that people feel safe with you is a sign that you would be in a really good position to actually help people. Because sometimes spiritual work in a lot of ways is just showing up and listening, and being a mirror, and just listening to your intuition in terms of what to say. And sometimes you don't need to say anything, you just need to listen. So the fact that that's already happening is a really good sign that this is you have that natural gift, that natural ability to help people open up, and that they feel safe with you. So yeah, I would definitely say that that's something that you should consider as a way of moving forward if you're not already, that. And it could manifest in various different ways, in terms of how we can spiritually be there for others, and I'm sure you'll be divinely guided to what's the right way for you, if you're not already doing that kind of work. But as in a way you are, because if people are coming to you, then that work is kind of already happening, but in a deeper sense, So it could be that this transition you're going through, as you are dealing with the grief, and as you're opening up more to spirit, that whatever way forward is going to sort of reveal itself. But right now, just listen to your heart and your joy, and to what comes through from spirit, because you're definitely getting a lot of spirit messages, and it may, they come through in different ways. It could just be, you get a feel for something. It could be you get, a phrase that comes into your mind. You see something in your mind's eye. The ability to put people at ease, I think, is awesome, in my opinion, because I think if you're clairsentient, the ability to feel others, that empathy, I've often kind of felt that it can go the other way. It's almost like you can transmit a feeling of safety and of love to others. And so that makes it, it's almost like people unconsciously pick up on that and then come to you. So, yeah. Well, I wish you all the luck in getting through what you're dealing with, and with your path forward. I think it's going to be likely very, very fruitful, and it seems time for it as well. And I think you're probably going to be very successful in using your spiritual gifts to help others, in whatever way that is. But obviously I can still feel that you've got some healing to do yourself. So you always have to take care of yourself first. But yeah, it has given you almost like what you needed to actually take a step into the spiritual side of things more, I think. Anyway, I hope that helps. Let's see. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes when we allow space for others to speak, it gives us an opportunity to open up. Yeah. And look at our things as well, allows us to feel our own things as well. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. All right. All right. So if there's anyone else there that wants a reading, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to doing the general collective chakra reading for how we can best navigate Aries season. So, yeah. So let's see. All right. How are we doing for time? Wow. Already an hour and 25. The time goes so quickly when you do live streams. I was expecting it to be the opposite. I was expecting to go, oh, how do I fill the time? And it just goes so quickly. All right. So now I just need to be, sure which deck I'm going to do the chakra reading with. Let me just pick up the deck. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to do the Moonology. So I'm going to just take this back. So before I get started, since we've got new people in, what I'm doing is a chakra reading. I'm just going to take this caption off. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these chakra crystals. Yeah, I guess that way around. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to just look at them and see which one's calls to you, and to just make a mental note of that. And then I'm also, as we go through each chakra, I'm going to do a card for each chakra, put the crystal on top. I'm going to put the symptoms of like when there's a blockage in that chakra, so you can pay attention to both which stones call to you because there's a message for you there, but also if you see a ticker go by and it's like, oh, I recognize I've got those issues, then that probably is also a message for you. So you can work out in two different ways, through your intuition and through what resonates in the symptom list, to work out which cards to pay the most attention to. But of course, any of this resonates, then just take it. So I'm going to just shuffle first, and then when that feels right, I will show you the crystals and we'll start from there. Yeah, okay, that's good. And we need to do 4 apparently. All right, okay. So just take some water. Okay, so I want you to just look at these crystals here. We have the root chakra. Oh, these are slightly out of order. Excuse me. I'll just pop this back in the right order. So we have the root chakra at the base of our spine. We have the sacral chakra. We have the solar plexus. Then we have, oh, I'm totally out of order with these, sorry. The heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra. So I want you to just look at these crystals and just see which ones your eye gets drawn to, which ones you like, whatever ones you feel stick out for you in whatever way. And while I'm letting you do that, I'm just going to change the look here. Okay. All right. So I have already shuffled that. So I'm going to start with root here and crown here. Might just bring that there. Oh, that's that one, and then last one. All right. So I'll just center that so we can use that. So I'm just gonna put on the root chakra. There we go. So there we go. So these are the symptoms that tend to happen, tend to have issues with if the root chakra is blocked. So if you were drawn to this crystal, the red crystal, I was actually drawn to this one, so we'll see what it says. Then this one has a particular reading, or if any of these symptoms sound familiar. So let's see what we have. Oh, we had this morning. So at the end, I will show you, because I do a weekly reading, like a short weekly reading on Rumble, and that's just to give a couple of 1 or 2 oracle cards, a couple of tarot cards reading for the week. And this card showed up 3/4 moon in Pisces, which is talk less, feel more. So if you are having, let me just see if I can put that there so you can see it better. If you are having issues with the root chakra right now, then we need to get more into feeling rather than talking or thinking about what's going on. And it's also about, if you want to take it from an abundance standpoint, what does it feel like to, for example, navigate through these times like this month of Aries season, in the sort of, if you navigate, I'm just trying to find the right word. There's a word that wants to come through, but it's almost like if you're able to sort of, I want to say fluidly, even though that doesn't necessarily make sense. So it's like water again. So we've got Pisces, emotion. So it's almost like if you want to smoothly navigate through this coming month or so, then we need to actually really dig into what it is that we feel and what it is that we want to feel. So if we're having an issue, for example, with scarcity, quite often the root chakra, we can have issues with scarcity and survival issues and stuff like that. Then we need to be focusing on what does it feel like to be abundant, to have everything I need in a timely manner, and put our focus onto that. So really important to manage and there's another word. It's not coming, but to be very mindful of our emotional state. If we get sucked into the fear of things, then that is what we are creating. Now, having said that, there's been a lot of clearing going on. So sometimes it's been necessary to feel old trauma to release it. Particularly the last few months. I'm hoping there's with the Aries season that's going to start to shift. It looks like it may do, but so we have to be mindful of, is this something coming up to be released, in which case we need to feel it and let it go, even if it is difficult. but not get sucked into the drama of the world. So if you're watching the news and you're finding it's making you anxious or fearful, to be mindful of that. Maybe pick your sources carefully or something like that. So what we feel is going to be really, really important in terms of dealing with root chakra blockages in this particular Aries season that we're in. So yeah, okay. So I'm going to, if you want to know more about that card, then I'll show you the where to find the video I did on Rumble this afternoon, at the end. So if you stick around for that. Okay, so that is the root chakra. Now, if you were, I'll just move on to the next one. So we're now on to the sacral chakra symptoms. If you were drawn to this orangey one, I'm sorry, the lighting's not so good in here, but this orangey crystal, or if any of these symptoms below sound familiar, then this card is for you. And we have last quarter moon in Aquarius. Reflect on your priorities. Reflect on your priorities. So it's interesting that we get a card like that, because at the beginning of the astrological new year, you know, in the same way as we might do at the end of the calendar year, is a great time for reflection. What worked, what didn't work over the last year. So we need to really focus on what it is that is important, what really I'm getting two things. The things that we can't avoid, that we may be trying to, but also the things that are important to us, that we need to prioritize, that perhaps we weren't giving as much prioritization. And this can be things like self-care as well, you know. Yeah, one sec. It's a time to take stock of what are we putting our energy into, that, you know, what really matters. You know, again, being mindful of where we're placing our energy, so that we put it into the things that we want to manifest, that we want to give energy to, and not things that are fear-mongering or making us feel small or belittled or any of those kind of things. So what is it? And we're in Aries season, so this is time to take action. And we're seeing it's a lot of about new endeavors. So what is important to you? What brings you joy? What do you feel called to do? And particular things that perhaps we've been holding back on, that perhaps we haven't given as much attention as we could have, but we're still feeling the call to do it. We're feeling the pull, we're feeling the nudge. So I think it's almost like, because this is our creative energy, the sacral chakra is our creative energy. So it's like our creative energy wants to go into what is important to us, what we're being called into to do, not what we feel we should have to do, because we feel that society thinks we should have to do, or we feel stuck in a situation and we just have to muddle through. I think that those kind of things that we have been avoiding looking at. So for example, if you're in a job that you do not like, and you feel real joy and feel a real passion about something else, that you've kept maybe just as a hobby or just something you do on occasion, I think you're being called to re-examine what you're doing with your creative energy. as an example. It could also be relationship based, you know, because this is about sexuality as well. So it could be about who are we being intimate with? You know, are we giving enough time to our partners and the people that we love, you know, our intimate family and stuff like that. So it could be those kind of things as well. So really important time to look into where we put that creative energy of ours. Yeah. Interesting. All right. So if you were called, I'll just move the ticker on. So solar plexus chakra. So if you were called to the yellow crystal, or have any of these issues down here, I can already see chronic fatigue, so I know this one applies to me. Then this one is for you. First quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. Wow. So it's very interesting because the solar plexus chakra is about willpower. It's about your personal power. And so to have the card step into your power. So this is perhaps places where you have held back or been afraid to step into your power. Or been nervous about it in some ways. Haven't been putting both feet in, you know, one foot in, one foot out. Any places where you haven't stood up in integrity of what you know are your principles, for example. Any place where you've been giving your power away, that's where you need to look at right now. And considering it's the Aries card, and we are in Aries season, new moon in Aries, lots of, Aries energy. This is really, really important. And I did actually, I was who was it? I think it was Amanda Ellis. I was watching, and she got a message saying it's going to be that the solar plexus right now is what really needs assistance with. And she got a message from Spirit that said that red jasper, which is this, placing it in your belly button, apparently is a great thing to do right now, because our solar plexus needs a lot of support right now with the way the energies are. So things that really help you ground are really going to be important as well, because it's almost like you've got to ground the energies. You've got to come in and then use your power to do something with that energy. So yeah. Really interesting. Okay, so the next one is the heart chakra, which is this green crystal here. Can see it a bit better. So if any of these symptoms sound familiar, or you're drawn to that crystal, then this one's for you. Okay, last quarter moon in Capricorn. Leave the past behind. So I feel this one deeply because I've been doing with this work. So been doing a lot of releasing from the heart recently. This is a time for change. It's a time for new things. It's been a time for letting go of old karmic connections, old soul contracts, things that no longer serve. And as part of that, it's been a lot of things we've had to let go of, to do the final grieving of, to heal, you know. And so it's required us to let go of a lot of the old that no longer serves. With Pluto going into Aquarius, heralding the real astrological push of the Aquarian age. We're going into all new stuff. It's all new stuff, and it's been necessary for us to let go of a lot. And so if you're dealing with heart stuff, surrender, let it go. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. Feel it, of course. Feel it, because you have to heal it. But we don't need to carry our wounds forever. And this has been, the last few months have been an incredible sort of squeeze to allow us to let go of the past. So we can become what we need to be going forward from now on. So, so dealing with dealing with our past, letting it go, and opening our heart again to something new. All right. Okay, so the next one, throat chakra. So if you recognize any of these symptoms, or you were drawn to this kind of blue crystal here, then this one's for you. Okay, so we get last quarter moon Sagittarius, practice gratitude. There we go. Practice gratitude. This is the throat chakra. Maybe we need to verbalize it. We need to talk about what we're grateful for. You know, a great practice, particularly for manifesting, but also for clearing, is to, and to bring us back into a higher frequency if we're struggling, is to think about what we're really grateful for. And it could be simple things like, I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for being able to breathe this air. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have the friendships that I have, or the animals I have around me, or whatever it is, or the gift of some talent that you have, or some moment where it felt like you were being looked out for, or whatever it is that, you know, find, even if it's the smallest thing you can find to be grateful for. If you're really, really struggling, it can be hard to find what we're grateful for, but just find something like, so I think we need to practice gratitude right now for having issues with the throat chakra, and to verbalize it, to speak it. If you have an opportunity to tell somebody that you're grateful for something that they do, or quality about them, or whatever the case may be, then this is a great time to do it. And I think it may also be connected to this leaving the past behind, you know, because it could be that this is also about releasing grudges. It could be about, you know, letting bygones be bygones, and actually finding what we're, you know, what we do find, what we are grateful for in a relationship with somebody, whether that's a parent, a sibling, or a spouse, or whatever the case may be. So, I think we need to verbalize what we're grateful for, even if it's just to say it out into the room to spirit and say, I am grateful for this. You know, the actual act of verbalizing is probably going to be very useful right now. Yeah. Okay. And then we have the third eye chakra. Well, I can see somebody has just chatted. Hello, Queen of Shiva. It's good to see you. I was already glad to see you again. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to finish this reading, and then I will take more requests in the chat if anybody has any. But okay. So this, let me just go back here, make sure I'm on the right one. Third eye, yeah. Okay, great. So if you're having any of these symptoms below, or you chose this crystal, resonate with this crystal, then this one is for you. Full moon in Aries, cool your emotions. There we go. Very interesting. Cool your emotions. So it's almost like our emotional state. So we talked earlier about in the zodiac, the need for emotional stability, emotional resilience. And so what I'm getting from this is that when we get whipped up in the drama of things and get emotionally triggered, it's harder for our third eye to be active. So it can cause blockages in the third eye. So, and the fact that this is an Aries means it's probably even more relevant for this coming Aries season right now, because the energy is such that it might be that we get whipped up, because Aries is the marsh in the energy, and it can be about conflict, it can be about anger. So it could be emotionally, these things are much more likely to be triggered right now. So if you're having blockages in the third eye, like maybe you're getting migraines or any of the other symptoms that are here, consider where you're getting emotionally triggered, where you're getting sucked into emotionally into things, and what you can do to ground yourself, to bring yourself back into your center. Because when you do that, you're going to be able to open up. And if you're I mean, we all have the potential for psychic ability. It just depends on how open you are. But if you are sort of in tune with that on some level, or have been working with that on some level, but you're finding it a little bit of a struggle for some reason, then check your emotional spectrum, I guess, to see, you know, are you having mood swings? Are you kind of like going back and forth and having all kinds of emotional stuff, or are you able to like keep your center well? So interesting. Hadn't really put those two together. The idea that our emotional state, if it's heightened, could get in the way of our psychic intuitive ability, our ability to be open to spirit. But it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because in a lot of ways you have to be almost a little detached when you're opening up to the spiritual side of things. So because it's the ego that gets caught up in things in terms of like trying to keep us safe and survival. And so if we're feeling triggered, it's usually the ego that's triggered. So actually it makes a lot of sense. I just haven't connected the dots. Okay. Crown chakra. So finally, if any of these symptoms sound familiar, or you were drawn to this purple amethysty, it's hard to see, it looks kind of white there, but crystal, then this message is for you. Oh no, I got this on a personal reading not so long ago. Last quarter moon in Virgo, attend to the details. So yeah, I was watching somebody talking about how with all the Piscean energy that we've been dealing with, I know we've just come out of it, that a remedy for it is to really be in the Virgo energy. So, you know, everyday routines, details, and all of that. And so this is attending to the details. And I got this, I think just before I had the astrologer talking about it. And yeah, so there has been this need to almost like be very much see, domestic alchemy comes up, you know, this feeling of keeping your space in good order, attending to the things that, the everyday things that perhaps you don't particularly want to do. But what this does is it creates space for, in particular, so we've got the crown chakra. So this is our connection to spirit. This is so it's almost like in being able to it's, again, the balance, right? So it's very easy to get caught up into just the spiritual side of life or just the physical side of life and not find the balance between the two. So it could be there's actually been a lot of spiritual energy because we've been in Pisces. It's a very spiritual sign. So we've probably had a lot of spiritual energy coming towards us during this time. And even though we're going to Aries now, and that's fire, that's a fire sign, and fire signs are spirit. So there's a lot of almost spirit energy around. And in order to counterbalance that, we need to make sure we're taking care of the practicalities, whether that's keeping our house in order, whether that's doing the admin, whether that's making that phone call you've been putting off, or just attending to the everyday things of life. So if you've been having a blockage or perhaps overwhelm there, I'm getting overwhelmed as well, then to stabilize that, you're going to need to sort of really go into the Virgo energy and take care of everyday details in everyday life. So wow, that's a powerful reading right there. So I'm just going to take a moment and take a photo of this. And while I'm doing that, if anybody wants a reading, either a general reading, and if it's a general, you can say if you want it about your career, your love life, health, or just whatever spirit wants to say. Or if you have a particular question you want me to ask spirit on your behalf, then pop it in the chat while I'm just finishing up here, and then I'll do the reading afterwards. If I don't have any more questions, then I will wrap up the live stream. So I'll just take this photo. Try and get them all in. There we go. All right, so just gonna, oh, sorry, was that you, Leo? Oh, Leo is right under my feet. I didn't realize it. All right, so I'm just going to take this off, and I'm going to just take that one off, and we'll put that one on. If anybody's got anything, then just pop it in the chat. Whilst I'm putting the cards away and the crystals. All right. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more requests. So I just wanted to show you quickly where to find my, my Rumble channel. So this is where I will do the weekly readings. I mean, obviously right now I'm still in this process where I'm not 100% back because, I've taken time off because I've had a bereavement, and I'm sort of slowly building myself back. This was like really, spirit brought me back onto this particular one. So I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to be back next week with tarot. I mean, obviously the plan was I was going to do these live streams every 2 weeks anyway, but the weekly one, I'm going to I just have to see what spirit guides me to do on the, closer to the time. So we'll see what happens. Things are a little bit in flux, but if you ever want to know what's going on, I have a page where on my website where I keep that up to date so that you can see if I'm going to be live again. Yeah, so I can see something in the chat. Let's have a look. Oh, you're welcome, Annalise. Yeah, it's been really good. And it's nice to see new people here, and I'm glad the personal readings helped as well. So yeah, but I will definitely be. I'm just going to show you. So let me just go back. So we've got the Rumble, and then I was going to just quickly share my screen. I'm still learning all the special buttons. Brave tab. So there we go. So here is my Rumble channel, and this one here is the weekly reading I did for this, and I'm doing this where all my readings have been so far. But I like to do some things on Rumble because I like to support channels that don't have censorship, but I can't stream there right now because I don't have enough followers, but at some point I might be able to stream there. But if you want to read my to watch my readings weekly, this is where you can come and do that. So there we go. And I think that was about it that I was going to suggest. And I just want to check here and make sure nobody sent a tip that I need to say about. No. All right. Well, if you want to know more about me, that's my website. And thank you so much for showing up. I hope this helps you navigate the sort of Aries season that we're heading into now. And whenever spirit guides me to do this next, you'll see me. And you could always go to my website to find out if I'm going to be live on a particular week. I do want to get back in a regular schedule again, but I can't promise anything right now. So, but thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great Aries season, and we'll see you soon. Bye.